All right. Sweet. Okay, Ben. Well, good seeing you. Good meeting you today.
Yeah.
Today we are going to talk about um, the what was our topic?
Part B, choosing. I had it pulled.
Let's see. It's Module 3, Part 3. I just can't remember the.
Yep.
I should have put this down. Um, so we're doing the discussion prompt. Choose one of the above categories and compare and contrast which compare and contrast some of the sustainability practices that different tourism businesses have adapted within. What are some of the practices you believe are worth highlighting, and would you like to see more of? Why? And be critical in your discussion and use specific examples. So we chose to do the where the hell is it? Socioeconomically sustainable business practices section of that module. Um, And yeah, I mean, maybe we could start off by answering the first part of the question, which is, um, you know, compare and contrast some of the sustainability practices that different tourism businesses have adapted within. And I think one of the obviously the most obvious ones in this section was definitely um, the G Adventures example.
Hmm. Hmm.
So if we want to start talking about that, I mean, we could, and we could just
Yeah.
go from there.
Yeah. Go for it if you had a
Yeah.
thought or yeah.
Yeah. So, well, first of all, I came in knowing really nothing about this, and the fact that only 5 of every $100 stays in the destination, in tourism. I thought that was pretty insane. And I thought that the G Adventures, their response to that is how could we bring, how could we support the local economy without all this money, with 5% of the money staying in the community, and they developed the Ripple score. Um, and I think that was a super interesting way of running their or planning their trips based around that Ripple score so they could give back to the communities that they were bringing people on tours and trips on, um, just to, for to create sustainable communities that they are using their communities for tourism. And yeah, I think that's it's based out of 150, I think, and or sorry, 750, and
Hmm.
I thought it was super interesting that their scores were rated 93 out of 100, which is super strong indicator of their local economic engagement.
Yeah. I think it was an interesting and very visual way to put a tag on their trips. Um, it took me, I mean, my only thought on it was exactly what it means a little bit. They don't put their criteria out there. At least I
Yeah.
couldn't find it, even through Planetera, who they kind of used to develop this score. So it was kind of that sounds great, but is that
Yeah.
actually what's happening in those places, right? And I went through a few other trips, and they're somewhat affordable on average, I think,
Yeah.
compared to other operators and the hotels they use. That was kind of where I was seeing, so you're using these hotels, but who are these hotels owned by? That
Yeah.
was kind of my biggest question with the score.
Yeah.
Um, so does that money actually stay
Just
in there? So I think from a consumer point of view, I think it's a great visual to put on your website and on your brochures, I'm sure. Um,
yeah, for sure. I mean, maybe it is like, yeah, you're right. It might be. It's better than nothing.
right.
And I think that maybe other companies could adopt a similar thing where they're at
Hmm.
least putting an effort into making it,
Hmm.
you know, to be transparent and to support the
Hmm.
community. Because, not really, I guess no one else is really doing much of that compared like G Adventures is. So,
Not in that kind of like, here's what
no.
it is way.
Yeah.
I did go a little further into that was later on in the unit, the Travel Corporation, um, and their sustainability reports. And it was interesting because it was from 2021, I think, like most of the material. I was just curious if they kept up with it. Same with the G
Oh, the
score
travel
thing too.
report. Yeah.
Yeah, and just to see if these companies are still doing it. G score, I don't know that they've really developed much more depth in
Yeah.
all of those years, which was interesting. And then the Travel Corporation, which was a family-owned um, set of brands and hotels and tour trips and all that, uh, is now owned by private equity.
Oh, I
So
didn't
that
see
I mean
that part.
that's a
That's
big
a
change.
bummer.
That's what I was curious. Like, oh,
That's a
this was
big
4 years
change.
ago. What exactly is happening? And it's only been a year, but they did still release the report.
Yeah.
Um, but it completely changed how they scored their trips because they offloaded a bunch of hotels
Yeah.
and some of the operations that had been there. So they're all their scoring from the previous 4 years is kind of out the window. Um,
Did they say
and
why they dumped all those like their hotels?
I I know. I mean, I'm gonna guess it was profitability and
Yeah.
but they didn't really. And I mean, it was definitely, I'm sure, in the last year, a big change um,
Yeah.
for everything. Like, their carbon scoring
Yeah.
completely different now. But I was impressed they still do it, and they still kept their private or nonprofit foundation um, that does a lot of the impact work in their destinations.
Yeah.
Um, but for like a consumer, this stuff is like not even touchable. It
Yeah. It's
takes
not
commitment,
touchable.
right? It's good for us trying to learn about it,
Yeah.
but I doubt many consumers are going to read a 80-page report
Yeah.
um, on on
Yeah. I
what they're
wonder.
doing, and it's yeah,
I feel like most consumers are not going to read that 80 page report. And I think that like even like me before this, I never even thought about that.
yeah,
I
yeah.
never even, and so, and I'm like, feel like I'm more in tune with that kind of stuff with like sustainable tourism and that
Hmm.
like majority of the people who travel. And so
Yeah,
to get people on board behind that might be really tough. But
yeah. Well, and that was my guess that why G Adventures hasn't really done much more is probably because their consumers haven't really demanded much more
yeah,
from them.
yeah,
Um, so that their score probably works well for the people they're attracting.
yeah,
Um, and it has improved, right? They set out their benchmark to get that number above 90, I think, um,
yep,
which they did. So
yep,
that's something. So it's kind of a mix of how much information do you want or need
yeah,
when you're deciding to do these big trips.
yeah, yeah,
And and I was looking, because owning a tourism based business too, this is and like thinking domestically,
yeah,
I I don't know that anybody, and I did a little bit of searching around, really looks at it the same way.
yeah,
Even though we could, right? Like,
yeah,
does the money we spend on our weekend trips stay in those communities that we're going to? And I think that's an opportunity for a lot of places.
hmm,
Um, and like I think you mentioned you were a fly fisher, right, in your
yeah,
intro. So I
yep,
think like those guides, if you ever use a guide, like where are they? Is their impact score kind of the same? Are they in those communities? Are they coming in from other places? And
yeah.
like, yeah,
It's a good point.
uh,
I think most of those fly fishing guys, like they are living, they got to live close to
fair.
the beach. They're
Yes.
going there
Yeah.
every single day,
Yeah. Yeah.
But
No, it's
yeah, I
true.
know, I understand your point.
Yeah.
Um,
I
all
just
right.
I used a raft service in Oregon years ago
Okay.
for a trip, and they were 90 miles away from the
Oh,
river we were
really?
rafting.
Interesting.
And so it was like, oh, that's kind of weird. I mean, that's different, right?
Yeah, that is different. Well, now going back to the fly fishing guy thing, now that I think about it, I feel like there might be some like usually like guides have to go through like a an outfitter or a fly
Hmm.
shop.
Hmm.
And I think that maybe like some of that, I'm sure they probably hire guides that are within a very short distance of the river that they're going to.
Yeah.
But yeah, but you're right. Like is
But
that
maybe that fly shop is owned
yeah,
by
yeah,
a corporation or somebody
yeah,
that's not even close, right? I mean, it
yeah,
just
yeah,
there
exactly.
could be some more transparency there,
Yeah, I never even
um,
thought about
in a
that.
way. Yeah,
Interesting.
I don't know that anybody really does in a lot of
Does
ways.
yeah,
That kind of impact score, right? And
yeah,
US based tourism so much the looking at it as a whole, right?
yep,
Are we growing? Is everything growing? Is it getting bigger? Without a whole ton of look at the impact that's there.
yep.
Um, yeah, do you have any other thoughts on the impact score?
Um,
Uh, and G Adventures is, I mean, it's basically right. This amount of dollars stays in
yeah,
there, right? So it is somewhat basic in a way.
it is basic.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, yeah. I mean, I think that overall, like, it's a start maybe to,
Hmm.
but I think that's kind of like it really just kind of scratches the surface of like transparency and I like the idea that they're at least trying to
Hmm.
more money in the community, but I don't know. Like you said, I think that in that I can't remember where this quote come from, but it was in that G Adventures article. But it said 97% of travelers would prefer socially responsible,
Hmm.
like brands,
Yeah.
and so maybe there is a more of a market for that. But I wonder why they did this new report. They did kind of drop off. They did dump like some of their hotels or whatever.
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah.
wonder what caused that, but
Yeah.
that makes sense. Um,
If yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Now that it's we're probably not going to get as much transparency out of the
yeah,
travel corporation
for
now
sure.
that that's that way.
Yep,
But I started digging around, right? Because it was Sea Adventures score, the Ripple score per dollar, per $100, what dollar?
yep.
Like, are other places doing other things to measure their impact? So I did kind of go down a rabbit hole
Okay.
uh, and found uh, I think it's from the Netherlands. I think it's they're Dutch. Uh, Kind of a consortium of travel groups called Earth Changers.
Earth
It,
Changers.
yeah, and they try to score things not using any quantitative data. Um, so they're only looking at they use something called the Social Progress Index.
Okay.
So it's using basically 12 different indicators. None of it has to do with a dollar amount per se. And it's looking at that next level of impact, right? Is education, human capital, gender equality, things that are a little more hard to wrap your head around. Um, to me, that's felt like more of a
Yeah.
in-depth look, like how you could score things, but
Interesting.
it does not give you the circle and the number um, that tells you in a very easy way,
Yeah.
right, that
Yeah.
this is having a positive impact. So
Yeah.
I don't know that anybody's doing it really well.
Yeah.
Um, that makes it easy to find the information you want
Yeah.
out of that
For
impact.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that's yeah. I did a little research myself into some other companies. Like there are a lot of companies
Hmm.
who are giving back to the communities that
Right.
they're
Right.
in. But like you said, like Interpret Travel, they give 1% of their revenue to
Hmm.
their foundation, which supports their local guides and businesses.
Yeah.
Um, which I think is great. But it's like you said, it's kind of hard to it's hard to measure some of the like it's hard to measure and it's hard to show people um, the impact you're actually making. So
Yeah. And like all those smaller travel companies, right? They're not going to have the staff
no,
or staff time to put in that work to show those things, right? It's just so much easier for them to have an impact by saying, all right, 1% is
yeah,
going to these
yeah,
organizations in these areas. And they
yeah,
don't talk about exactly what's happening. And I think that's fine, right?
yeah,
Um, but it'd be nice if somebody developed a tool for smaller outfitters
yeah,
and guides to just say, all right, here's how much money we put in. Here's where it went. How we doing? Um,
yeah.
yeah.
Sweet. Okay.
Yeah.
What else could we let's see, what time is it? Or how long are we? I don't know.
Um, does it tell us? Good question.
No, it doesn't tell us.
Uh,
That's all right. We could talk about, I mean, I think it was like 20 minutes they said, but
yeah,
um
I bet.
I think one thing I did find interesting from the G Adventures article, which I don't know how if this is just like a one-off um instance or but the like hosting travelers in hosting like like this Nicaragua story where um locals were staying at houses and
Mm-hmm.
like Westerners and they started doing the like let's say the men started helping the women with the dishes and stuff and
Mm-hmm.
I thought that the fact that like the local like the husbands saw that happening and they started to change their kind of shifted their traditional gender roles into more of like
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was actually super interesting. I don't know how common that would be,
Yeah.
but I think that that's interesting. That at least there's showing another good thing coming out of it. So
Right.
uh,
No, I think that, and there are uh, that travel corporation too did have that. Those UN sustainability goals, gender equality is one of them,
yep,
and I think that using travel to do that seems like something that works pretty well.
yeah,
Honestly, I mean, it's just that exposure. Um, but a program like that was just kind of like I read that and I was like, whoa, that's got to be somewhat hard to convince people
yeah,
in these places to
yeah,
allow this to happen.
yeah.
But I guess if the impact is big enough for them,
Yeah. I mean, maybe
yeah,
it wouldn't happen everywhere, but maybe it would happen
right.
certain places.
Well, I'm sure the culture matters
Yeah, for sure.
um, on hospitality. That
Yep.
what the norm is. No, that was
Absolutely.
a
Oh, go
good
ahead.
one.
What'd you say? Sorry, I missed that.
Oh, sorry. That yeah, I like that example
Yeah.
of kind of an impact that's hard to put down a score for too.
Yeah.
Um,
Um, agreed. I thought that was super interesting. I'm trying to look at my notes to see what else I found that I thought was interesting. Uh, yeah, I mean, I think that one thing we did talk about, like, what are the like, is this like kind of score like actually scalable to give to other businesses? And it just
mhm.
doesn't seem like it really.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it seems like it's be too complicated for smaller businesses to measure. And yeah,
If yeah, I don't, for that, just every trip is different, I
yeah,
guess, right? And every trip's going to utilize different people
yeah,
in different places.
yeah.
Uh, I still think there's got to be a baseline you could find, right? Which is sad to say, but just like the baseline that you're not exploiting an area you're
Yeah.
going to.
That could be
Um,
like yeah, maybe there could be more of like a standard where that's
yes,
like at
yeah.
least,
Instead of that top end, like every
yeah,
single dollar staying
yeah,
here, something like we are actually creating a positive impact.
yeah.
Um, that would seem easier to certify, maybe. And that, yeah, going through some of these places, all the different types of certification, sustainable travel certifications you can get.
Yeah,
I mean, super overwhelming.
it is
Uh,
overwhelming.
I'm sure every industry, like every kind of travel, probably has their own.
Yeah.
Um, but still, kind of the costs and benefit of going down that path to make it
It's
worth
probably
it.
not worth it for
Yeah,
most companies.
yeah, right. Maybe it gets you one or two more trips a year, maybe
Yeah,
depending on your clientele. But yeah,
yeah,
probably something they weigh um, every year.
yeah,
Um, but it's probably yeah, consumer driven, right? If somebody's calling you up and saying, "Why aren't you green leaf certified or
yeah,
whatever?" I mean, there were so
yeah.
many of them, and
So many of them.
I've had yeah,
Yeah.
uh,
Well, I think that I feel like the B Corp is kind of like the main standard, right? Maybe
yeah,
not. I don't
yeah.
know. But um, yeah, I was just, you're
No,
right. I
that's
was just
true, and
thinking
I think
about
I
that.
think we're I looked ahead a little bit. I think we're talking more B Corp stuff in weeks to come.
Yeah,
Uh, but yeah, that is maybe becoming a standard, right?
yeah,
And that is kind of setting a baseline, right? You have to have a positive impact beyond your shareholder,
yeah,
um, for all stakeholders involved. So yeah, and that might be easier to communicate around the world too, um,
yeah,
which is a question I don't know that other places have much of a B corporation,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
industry. Yeah, things to find out, I guess.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't research it. Oh, oops. Didn't research this, but one thing I have read before that one of the most like Costa Rica is
Mhm.
extremely has there's a lot of ecotourism, sustainable tourism, and I wonder if they like are socioeconomically if the money's staying there too, or if it's just environmentally friendly. What do you
Yeah,
think about that? I guess there's so many, yeah,
I
sustainability.
did.
Go ahead.
Going around, with that Earth Changers kind of group of travel. I
Yeah,
did find an eco lodge from Costa Rica, that's part of this group, and it was this really long story about how they developed. And yeah, Costa Rica has been at the forefront of
yep,
this for a long time. So they
yeah,
started in the early 90s, um, with the help of the Costa Rican government to purchase like 1,000 acres of forest
wow,
to keep it in conservatorship too. But yeah, that was pretty cool. And it seems like they're still very involved and make sure the rules are followed, right? That's kind of always the in developing countries,
yeah.
making sure the rules stay followed all
They
the time.
followed, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. And how do you even like govern that? Who knows? But
Yeah.
I guess the it's just complicated to enforce and to measure everything that
Yeah.
it takes to be environmentally and socioeconomically sustainable. Um,
Yeah. And I found a UN tourism report. It was a toolkit. I might have clicked away from
oh
it. It was
yeah, that
a
was in our
tool.
last module, I think.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it did like a toolkit for
Yeah,
all of these sustainability goals for tourism.
yep,
And man, I mean, it's hundreds of pages long.
yeah.
Um,
It's
yeah,
so
I
long.
mean,
I know. Yeah,
and I just, skimmed through some of the goals.
yeah,
Um, and it's very well done and put together. But yes, for a smaller group to try to use it to develop, you know, an evaluation of what they're due,
yeah,
still think that's hard.
yeah. Sweet.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you wanted to chat about?
No.
No, I think we're let's see. Just want to double
Yeah.
check the time here. I think it was 20 minutes. Yeah, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we've been chatting for 20 minutes, but
Definitely.
oh, here,
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
stop the recording.
Recording for a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.